so that other people can watch it and this. Okay. All right. Good morning, everyone. Thought about it how have I not? I have. I have. I have. Okay. Please, everybody, mute your mic. Please, everybody, mute your mic. Let me start the class, right? And then after we are done explaining it, you can unmute your mic and ask your questions. Okay. So let's start. Let's start. Please do a thumbs up if you can see my screen. Do a thumbs up if you can see my screen. If you can see the screen. Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. Okay. So in this web development front end and back end tasks, you were taught um how websites work, and then the difference between front end and back end, and then some of the technologies that you can use on front end, which are HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and then technologies that you can use on the back end, which include servers, database, APIs, and then how these two ends of web development work with each other, and then some career paths and tools, and then the frameworks that you can use. So, but for the project or task, which is what we are going to look at today, the three tasks here. The first one is that we're going to inspect a live website. So we're going to see how a website, that's the tools being used behind a live website, and then we are going to build a simple HTML page, and then this part I'm not sure we are going to do it on this call because this is something that you will need to reflect on your own, right? What excites you about front end development, what excites you about backend development, and then whatever. So, but let's look at these two first. So let's start with inspecting a live website, right? What's a website? A website is essentially like this page that you can open in your browser. So all these pages that you're seeing right now on this my browser are all websites. And you can see that they all have different contents depending on the type of website it is. Like for example, now this is a health website. It has health related content, and then it's a specific type of layout for that content. And then this one is a website for Elementor. Elementor is a page builder on WordPress, but this is its own website, and you can see that it also has different type of content, and like the way you can interact with the content is also very different. The way you can interact with the content is also very different. So different websites, different types of content. This is also a website, but this is a documentation website. So we're going to look at let's start with a very simple one. Let's start with this one, Helium Health, right? The task here is first we should open any website on our browser. So we already have the website open on the browser. If you want to open a new website, you can open your browser and then you can even search for maybe google.com. Google.com is like the most popular website ever. So you can search for google.com. This is an address bar, you search for it and then it will now show you the output. So this itself is a website, but google.com is a website that you can go to search for other websites based on your keyword. So one thing that google.com does as a website is that you can come inside this Google website here and search for anything. Let's say for example, Hafsatu baby. And then when you search for it, it will give you search results that are essentially links to different websites that contain that thing that you're looking for, right? So that's exactly what google.com does. Good. So let's see. Let's see. I said we were going to open a website, right? So we're just going to open one here as well. But we'll first of all look at that Helium Health one. I think somebody else has joined the call. Yeah, one more guest. Wise man. Okay. So let's continue. So now we've opened the website. We've opened the website in our browser. They said use the browser's developer tools or what you call the inspect element, right, to explore the HTML and CSS. Now, what are developer tools? If they please, if you join the call, mute your mic so that it will not be the feedback will not be interacting with what we are saying. Wise man, mute your mic. Okay, thank you very much. All right, so what are developer tools, right? Um, One way to think about it is that this browser is an application, right? It's just like how on your phone or on your laptop you can have other applications like WhatsApp, camera application, you know, um, just like the browser itself is also an application. Essentially, like all these things that you're seeing here are all applications, and you can see that the browser I'm using here is Google Chrome, so it's an application. And because it's an application, it also has like some uh, things inside it that you can use, right, to be more productive while you are working with it. And then one of those things that it has that is specific to developers is known as the developer tools, right? There are also other things. There's this Google search, sorry, search with Google Lens, reading tabs, so on and so forth, extensions, all of those things, bookmarks, right? But the one that is specific to developers, especially front-end developers, is the developer tool. And how do you access the developer tool on the browser? Well, the quickest way to access it is by typing F12 on your keyboard. So when you type F12 on your keyboard, it will open this interface right on your browser. And inside this interface, you will see a bunch of options. You will see elements, you will see console, you will see sources, network, and there are even more. There's performance, memory, application, security, lighthouse, and recorder. So all these different tools are part of the developer tools. And what do? They help developers to inspect the sites, the website that they are building, right? Whether they are inspecting the code of that website or they are inspecting the JavaScript output of the website, or maybe like the sources that the website is like getting like maybe data from, right? Or how the network requests are going. So how long does it take the website to fetch like a document from the server or some CSS file or some image or some fonts, like how all these different files that the website needs to work, how long it takes for it to fetch them. So these things are kind of helpful because they can help the developer to evaluate how the website that they are building is performing and then be able to like make improvements where necessary. But for this class, we are going to be looking at the elements tab, right? So this elements tab now is what they said we should open here. Inspect element. Now, I've shown you one way to open it, which is by typing F12 on your keyboard. But there's also another way you can use to open it. You can open it by right clicking on any part of that your web page, especially maybe the part you want to inspect specifically. Let's say for example, I want to inspect this logo here. I want to see how the code for this logo is, right? I can right click on the logo itself and then come and click on inspect. When I click on inspect, it will also open that developer tools here. So you see that and it will go directly to where that logo is. It will show you where that logo is. So you can use that method now, this method that I've described now, you can use it to inspect a lot of websites that you're building just to check out how the code for that website, was built. It to be very nice. Okay, so if you're currently on your laptop, if you're currently on your laptop, please a new tab, open a new tab and see if you can do this thing that I've just done now. This inspecting the the website. So see if you can open your own in your browser. Either use F12 to do it, right? Or you right click on any part of the web page there and then click on inspect and then that will take you to the same place that you're going. So that's basically what we are doing here. They said we should open any website, use the browser tools and then explore the HTML and CSS. So we are moving to that part now, exploring the HTML and the CSS of this web page. Okay, so let me admit someone else. Someone just joined. Does anybody have any questions or if there's anything you want me to recap before we move forward? please you can indicate by raising up your hand, or you can also drop your question here in this chat. So you can drop your question in this our chat here, and if I get the notification, I'll check it out and I'll answer your questions as soon as possible. Okay. Any questions? Okay. So I believe since we don't have any questions, everybody's following the class very well. Let's keep going then. All right. So now let's explore the HTML and CSS, and then we are going to identify and screenshot three elements: a heading, an image, and a link. Now you will notice that this assignment you can't do it on your phone, right? You will need to use a system for it. So those of you that don't have a system to do this assignment, you will need to, that's why you people have your different groups. Please go and meet your group lead, the the leader of your group, and ask them for assistance, right? They can maybe introduce you to somebody else in that group that has a laptop, right? That you can use to do these tasks, because it's important that you do these tasks. It's just, even though you're not going to be a developer, you're going to be maybe a product designer or a digital marketer. Sometimes it just helps to know some of these things because you don't know where you're going to need it. There was this fun stuff that we were doing on a Friday, like Friday, I think that was like last week Friday, where we were inspecting developer. No, was it last week Friday? I can't really remember again, but we were just inspecting developer tools and seeing how you can like work with it. So I'm even going to show you an example now. So anyway, so we have this web page, and then this is the HTML for that web page, right? And then you will also see the styles under here. We'll look at those ones in a bit, but for now let's look at the HTML of the page. HTML of the page. Okay, so you see that this HTML, there are like a couple of key elements here. The first one you can see here is the HTML element. All web pages are always going to have this HTML element because it is the default, is the root element of that page. So every single thing about that website has to be inside this HTML element. You also notice that when I hover on it, the website itself turns blue to show that I am selecting the entire website. So by clicking on this HTML, I am basically selecting this entire website. Now, this HTML element has two different elements. There's the head element and the body element. The quickest way to explain the difference between both of them is that every single thing that you can see on the web page itself is inside this body element, but then the head element contains information about this website that your browser will need, or maybe like any web crawler is going to use. So think about things, for example, like when I open this head element, you will notice that it has a lot of meta tags, what you call metadata. Some of them have like robots in it. So this robot is what helps search engines to index your website, right? And then it also has the title of the website, so that whenever you search for the website, this is the title that is going to appear in the search results. Even things like a little bit of description, like the type of website it is, um, like so many different things, right? Just information that the user doesn't necessarily need to know, but where you're going to store the website, or like the browser that is going to view the website, the computers themselves that are going to work with this site, they will need this information. So most of those information you put them in the head element, and then in the body element you now put the actual content that is going to show up on the page. So let's have a little bit of fun with this page. So I'm going to come and select, I'm going to click here. Do you see this top arrow button here? I'm going to come and click on this one, and then I'll see here that this is actually a span element with a class name and a style attributes. The style here is color of 3674EC. So I think the quickest thing we can do here is even change the color, which is CSS itself. So because of course you can see style, CSS stands for cascading style sheets. So I'm going to do, let's change it to let's make it all, let's say RGB, right? G is the middle. So we're going to go with 00FF00. That should give it a green color. Yes, but the green is very, very bright. I don't really like it, but like you understand what I mean now, right? Like you can actually use the developer tools here to like experiment with the websites that you are building, right? Try to get it to look very nice. Now, I can even change the text here. Let's say, for example, I want to see how a different type of text will look on this website. So instead of saying Helium OS, I can say Innovation Growth Hub spaced and then say Innovation Growth Hub the digital. Of course, this thing that you're doing now is very, very temporary. If I refresh this web page, as you can see here, it is going to it is going to go back to the original content of the page. And the reason why that is happening is because when you make, remember that when you open a website on your browser, right, your computer is the client. So when you open that website, you're essentially making a request to whatever server is storing this website. And then that server is going to send you the website code that which who like the developer that built this site, whatever code that they used to build this site, right, and stored on that server, that's what the server is going to send to you. When it sends it to your browser will now like display it on the on the screen here like this for you. So it is what is at the server that is going to come to your web page every time you refresh. But when you do open developer tools and edit here, you're just working with what is already in your browser here, right? So this one now is not storing on any server. It's just you having fun testing out things, right? It's just you testing out things. So just keep that in mind when you are working with developer tools. Okay. All right. So we've explored HTML files. We've looked at looking at HTML in the developer tools. You can also see here that there is the CSS at the bottom here with the different elements that they are selecting. So let me go down and look for one. Okay, let's look at this. Let's look at this element. This element has an image in it, so I'm going to select it directly and I'll come here. So you see that there's a div, and then this div has a figure element. Inside this figure element, there is the image and there is the before and after, right? So see the actual image here. This is the actual image of the element. But then this figure element has a some CSS code here that makes it possible to have this background stuff on it. So let's see how that looks. Okay, you see that this before here, that's what is being used to do the background, to do the background here. So you see that it has a bit of gradient and then like this stuff here. And the CSS that is doing that is the one here, section image before, which is coming from this figure class here, section image before. So what we are doing here with this CSS, we are saying that the CSS should select any element that has a class of section image and then the before element in that. We're not going to talk about what the before element is on this call, right? That's core HTML, CSS stuff. So that's going to be for the front end developers exclusively. Maybe they can teach you. If you have any friend in front end, they can probably teach you about it later. Okay, does anybody have any questions so far before we move on to the next one? Does anybody have any questions? Like everybody in this call now, like if you understand how to open developer tools in your browser now, just do a thumbs up. So just come to your call, tap this, do a thumbs up so I can see it. Please, I need some feedback. I need some feedback. Okay, so all right, very good. Oh, that's very nice, very nice, very nice, very nice, very nice. Yes, the code has been written already. The code has been written already. Yeah, so that's the first one. That's the first one. So once you've done that, right, you can go ahead and identify and screenshot three elements, the heading, image, and link, which you can just do by, as I've just told you. The fastest way to do that is, let's say this is a heading. If I come and click on this button here, I can click on any element, select it, and then I'll see the kind of element it is. So you can see that this is actually a H3 element, a heading 3, right? Or you can see this one. If you click on this one, you see that this one is an image, an IMG element. Good. So you can even do the same thing for all kinds of elements. There are the ones for links. So scroll down and look for the one that is a link. And if you don't want to even come and be doing it like this, you can actually open the website normally and then search for the one that you think can, like for example, now I know this one is going to be a link. So I can right click on it, click on inspect, and then see the actual code for it, right, in my browser here. So you can see that the link here is a href that has the about and the about us here. All right. So that's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. So that covers tax 1. So let's go over to tax 2. Tax 2 is to build a simple HTML page with a title, heading, a paragraph about yourself, an image, a link to your favorite browser, and then you can save it and open in your browser. Okay, so before we do that, let me just close this first. Hold on.